Things aren't looking too well for Chris Cuomo or anybody that's closely related to him. And I'm not saying just in the sense of blood related. I'm talking about anyone who has a connection to him at all. Is not looking too good for him. Because whatever falls upon another person falls upon him even heavier. So in this picture, you see a man by the name of John Griffin, and he is a CNN producer, and he was the producer for Chris Cuomo's show. As we all know, Chris Cuomo got fired from CNN a little while ago. Literally a little while ago, like maybe a couple weeks ago. But this guy right here was charged with luring girls for, and these are their words, sexual training. And they put sexual in quotations, which means it's something more intense than that, but for PC purposes, and I'm not talking about palm colored, I'm talking about politically correct purposes, they had to put it that way. These are some sick people. These are, excuse me, some sick individuals. And not only does it look bad for Chris Cuomo, but it also looks bad for his brother, Andrew Cuomo. It looks even worse. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this article. A veteran CNN producer who worked shoulder to shoulder with now disgraced ex-anchor Chris Cuomo has been indicted on charges of luring young girls to his Vermont ski house for sexual subservience training. Now, when you think of that word subservience, you already know where they're headed with that. John Griffin of Stamford, Connecticut, allegedly used messaging apps to befriend and persuade moms of young girls, telling them a woman is a woman regardless of her age. That is some of the most pedophilic shit I have heard in quite some time. He said a woman is a woman no matter her age, which means he's letting you know what he's interested in right off the bat. And that he should be the one to train, quote unquote, their daughters sexually, according to the indictment from the U.S. Attorney of Vermont. Griffin, age 44, allegedly got at least one mom of two daughters to bring the girl to his Ludlow ski getaway in June 2020. It was the mom's responsibility to see that her older daughter, just 13, was trained properly, Griffin told her, according to the indictment. Griffin, a father himself, sent the woman $3,000 for plane tickets so they could fly from Nevada to Boston's Logan Airport, where he picked them up in his Tesla for the ride to Ludlow, according to court papers. Griffin was arrested December 10th by FBI agents after a federal grand jury in Vermont charged him with 3 counts of attempting to entice minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity. It was there that the daughter was directed to engage in and did engage in unlawful sexual activity. Griffin attempted to entice 2 other children over the internet into sexual activity, according to the indictment, which said he favored apps like Kik and Google Hangout for the alleged misdeeds. And by the way, both of those like apps like Google Hangouts and Kik are so outdated. So that lets you know right there, he was trying to use something that he probably wouldn't deem as completely traceable, because a lot of people really don't use those 2 apps nowadays. But it's not like they're inactive completely, like you can still trace it. In April 2020, Griffin allegedly suggested a virtual training session over a video chat that would include him instructing a mother and her 14-year-old daughter to remove their clothing and touch each other. In June 2020, Griffin told another mom of a 16-year-old girl that she take a little mother-daughter trip to Griffin's Ludlow ski house for sexual training involving the child, according to the indictment. Griffin was arrested Friday by FBI agents after a federal grand jury in Vermont charged him with 3 counts of attempting to entice minors and engage in unlawful sexual activity. On his LinkedIn profile, Griffin boasts of having worked shoulder to shoulder with lead anchor Chris Cuomo, seeing him through each show and producing live breaking news across the country and around the world. So that's practically how it got exposed that he worked at CNN. 1, because they probably already knew him over there. And 2, he was the one that put out that he used to work shoulder to shoulder with Chris Cuomo. That's why I said it's not looking too good for Chris right now. They worked together during Cuomo's 5 years as co-anchor of CNN's A New Day. Griffin, who calls himself a father on his Twitter feed and appears to have 3 young children, worked at CNN for almost 9 years. Prior to that, he held producing positions at ABC News, Fox News, and CBS. Griffin described himself as an entrepreneurial producer who combines uncommon technical skills with exceptional experience, honed editorial judgment, always with an eye towards how can we do it better? How can we move forward? How can we add value to the audience? The government will seek to take the property used in the alleged crimes, including Griffin's Ludlow ski house, his Tesla, and a Mercedes, according to the indictment. Griffin faces a mandatory minimum of 10 years in jail on each count, and I hope he gets every last count coming his way. And you saw what he tried to do there, or what they're trying to do. They're trying to use the words of him being a father to try to smooth out this guy's pervertedness. It does not matter if he has children or not. There's a lot of people out there who are straight up freaks and creeps who have a lot of children or a child or are married. It doesn't matter. I still can't get over that quote about him sending the text to the mother saying a woman is a woman no matter her age. And they wonder why in the FBI crime stats, they lead in a certain category. I call it the perversion category. Like, this guy is sick. And he had, like I said, he had to make sure that he mentioned that he worked shoulder to shoulder with Chris Cuomo, basically saying, you know, with everything Chris Cuomo is going through right now, it should be no surprise that he keeps this kind of company. But at the end of the day, even if he does work closely with Chris Cuomo, or he did at one point, this guy is still responsible for his own actions and which he did. Chris Cuomo wasn't there when he was sending these text messages out and telling the mothers of daughters, a woman is a woman no matter her age. And I got to question the mothers too. Why would you even take this man up on this offer who you clearly did not know? Like, red flags and antennas should have gone way up as a parent to say this does not sound right. And the thing is, he wasn't really being completely discreet with what he was saying. Like, from what I'm reading, he was pretty open with it. He wasn't trying to hide the fact that he was a straight up creep. And I'm willing to bet that there are so many more people like that work over at these networks who are just straight up pervs. Some of them float around there like they're holier than thou, and think they have it all together. And behind the scenes, this is what they're doing. His family should be insulted. And the fact that he has other children, and if he has daughters, just imagine you find out your dad is engaging in this type of activity. And it's on the internet now, so I'm sure the kids at school already are aware of their friends, if they have friends, of what their friend's dad engages in. See, he made it not only a bad look for himself, but he also brought a bad element around his family at the same time, because they're going to taunt them on the behalf of him. Since they can't get to him, they'll get to his family. But of course, he wasn't thinking about them. He was thinking about his own perverted needs and wants and desires. I'm telling you, there's some sick people in this world.